you can color them naturally and make it more fun. So if you give them, instead of gray or beige hummus, if you give them purple hummus because you've colored it with beetroot, or if you give them orange,
to show off to their
like look at
and...
my purple dip that I'm having, and they'll think it's cool.
All right, welcome to part 2, where this time I will be asking you questions again
about exciting school and work lunch options for kids. Hopefully your kids aren't working, or if they are, hopefully it's legal. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, we're talking about hopefully relatively simple but still nutritious and tasty options to send to school with your kiddo.
So far we talked about, proteins and, what kind of veggies they can have.
We haven't done veggies yet.
We talked about that's right. Yeah. We talked about the
vitamins and minerals and protein. Yeah.
Okay. So how about moving on? Why don't we tackle one of the key ingredients that kids need? Energy. They can take a lot more calories, and use them better than adults can, right? So.
Right. And faster, which means they need more energy because
right. They consume it, and they need.
You need to have reserves,
Yeah.
And especially if you think about it, kids sometimes are eating their lunch super early at school, at like 11 o'clock.
Speaking of energy, do you know this evening our son just drank my entire cup of coffee and didn't give me any?
Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend that per se. But
I didn't do it on purpose. He just took it and ran away.
Yes. Anyway, you digress. So if kids are having their lunch or snack very early in the day, they still need more energy and for their bodies and their brains so they can make the most of their school day. So
what are good sources of energy?
Energy, like concentrated energy. I think the best sources are what we call in India dry fruits, right? So fruits and nuts. And most kids love them, thankfully. And I think traditionally they love like peanuts and raisins, at least that's what I think of. But there's so many other options for dry fruits. Yeah, anjeer.
Dates,
khajur, dates, anjeer are figs, dried figs.
Apricots.
Cranberries, apricots. You can even find other dried fruits here like mango or apple or that sort of thing.
And recently I've seen, we've given freeze-dried strawberries and stuff.
Yeah, and the good thing about these dried fruits and freeze-dried is that it basically concentrates all the nutritional value into a smaller package, which is great for kids, maybe not so good for adults if you eat large amounts of it because it's more concentrated calories. But for kids, it's great. And then if you pair those with nuts, you get, we talked about the omega-3s and the protein. So you get that in an iron, you get that also. So that's also great for energy and concentration. And fiber, my favorite nutrient. So peanuts, almonds, cashews, pista, there's so many glorious nuts available here in India, including you.
I just realized.
So yeah, and especially if you're lucky enough to live in Mumbai like us, you get the best peanuts in the world. Okay, speaking of kind of the combination of nuts and fruits, granola bars or energy bars are even more readily available, especially ones that we've found that are made with good grains, like not just, so oats are excellent, but also made with quinoa, jowar, ragi, millets. You can find, and our older son absolutely loves those, and he gets one of those every day. And they're not surprisingly not very expensive, but you can also make your own if you're so inclined, and actually not very difficult. You can make a big tray of it, and again, freeze it or refrigerate it, and then throw it in the lunchbox. Trail mix is kind of on a similar, that just basically, we call it trail mix in the US. But why is it called trail mix? Because it gives you instant energy. So it's
on a hike
or wherever. So you have your nuts and your fruits, dried fruits, but you also will have some cereals in there, coconut flakes, sometimes little chocolate or peanut butter pieces, that sort of thing. Also carbs are a source of energy. We have to remember that. So like regular old carbs, not maida carbs, but, so pasta. A lot of times you may not think of pasta as a school snack. I can tell you I haven't, to be honest, but after doing my research for this talk, I was like, that's a great idea. So a pasta salad, made with veggie pesto or just olive oil and
some of the special pastas, right?
and they're made,
Chickpea pasta,
ideally you would
spinach.
do chickpea pasta or whole wheat pasta, or we found beetroot and spinach
Yeah, spinach
pasta.
pasta.
So a lot healthier than regular old white pasta.
Right.
And then also, this I guess goes more in the protein area, but veggie burgers, particularly bean burgers, also give you great sustained energy because of all the fiber. And I think that kind of ties in energy and attention. I made a separate category, but realized that those pretty much go together hand in hand. So they'll keep you, and also you mentioned about the coffee. So if any of these energy snacks have chocolate in that tiny bit of caffeine will actually help with your kiddo's attention without being too much caffeine.
Which might be counterintuitive to you. You might think that coffee will make them go haywire, but actually it's
a treatment for ADHD. I mean, so it's a central nervous system stimulant, so it wakes it up, and that is actually a treatment for the main treatment for ADHD, the main pharmacological treatment. So it's kind of, you're right, it's the counterintuitive, but yeah.
Yeah. And what about, if they want like something that's sweet?
Yeah, so sweets, I mean,
No?
yes, no, absolutely. Okay. I think, kids are humans too, and everyone likes a sweet treat.
I don't know about ours.
Yeah,
birds.
I mean, they may be the exception, but no, we do love our children. I just want to throw that out there, that we just like to tease them like everyone teases each other in this household. But what I recommend for sweets is don't give them like a sweet every day. Make it a surprise. Make it maybe once a week, you're going to give them some kind of quote unquote dessert or sweet. And there are, some healthier options for sweets. You can make vegan muffins that actually have some hidden vegetables in there. So zucchini mushrooms, zucchini muffins, believe it or not, exist and are quite delicious. The zucchini acts as a binder. You don't actually taste the zucchini, but it still has the health benefits. You can find muffins with oats and chia seeds, flax seeds, have fiber and protein. Also, cookies are the same thing. And then something you might not think about is giving breakfast type foods for a snack, like a dessert snack. So pieces of waffle or pieces of pancake, again, vegan and hopefully whole grain, but still sweet enough, like with cinnamon or maple syrup or something. And then one of my favorite hidden healthy desserts, you can actually make brownies with black beans, and you can make blondies, which are white brownies, with chickpeas, believe it or not. And I don't know.
Blondies should be not white brownies, but blonde brownies.
Anyway, so these are some of the exciting desserts that you'll see on our website at some point.
At some point. Well, we have some. We do have some.
We do, but more will be coming.
Yeah.
And then speaking of sweet, you're supposed to be asking me questions.
No, you already said, okay, that's fine. Go on, because we are talking about sweets, so you can continue with the sweets.
Yeah, so how about nature's candy, nature's dessert, the fruit?
Yeah.
And again, if you're lucky enough like us to live in a tropical climate, then you have glorious fruits available all year round. But even if you don't, the good thing is frozen fruits are mostly available, so that can be an option as well. So some of the easier fruits to provide are like the less juicier ones are a little less messy. So apples, plums, berries. It might be a little more difficult to do things like banana or orange because, orange slices, I suppose you could do. Anyway, all fruits are there. All fruits are delicious. And, I think you really can't go wrong with giving fruits.
Pick one and
try to give one a day.
And chop it up and throw it in there. And
Yeah. And then another exciting, healthy-ish fruit combo you can make is if you slice an apple or a pear very thin and make it like a piece of bread, you can put peanut butter or almond butter or whatever nut butter you like and make it like a sandwich. So that's kind of a fun thing that your kids might like.
And you've said, I've seen you talk to your pediatric patients, mothers or parents, and you always said make it fun for them.
Yeah, that's coming up in my tips section.
Fine. I was gonna just kind of jump the.
Okay, well, we could do that. So I see you were trying to get me to move on to my quick tip session. So I will do that, but let me just throw in a word for vegetables because
we didn't talk about
vegetables. And believe it or not, vegetables can be made fun and tasty for kids too. I could probably do a whole
fun
pot
of vegetables or make
fun and
okay.
delicious. I could do a whole podcast just on vegetables and
It's okay.
children and everyone, but
It's okay.
I will spare you the details.
you.
Just to say that some tips you can do is cut raw vegetables and allow kids to dip them into healthy dips like hummus or veg cream cheese, or we have some
Yeah, that's right.
other veg dips like queso, which is a cheese dip. But again, these are all veg, tofu. Yeah. So we can certainly provide those to you guys. And again, don't think your kids won't like it. The other day, our 4-year-old tried raw broccoli for the first time after much chagrin, but he loved it and now asks for it. So another thing you can do is give a frozen vegetable that will defrost by the time the kids eat it, so it's still a little cool, like frozen peas. Again, may not think much of that as a kid's snack, but if you put a little salt and spice on it, it's actually really tasty and healthy. So don't cut those veggies out. Oh, and one last thing.
Oh my God.
One of my favorite snacks as a kid that I realized later was secretly healthy is, and this is a very American snack, but I want to make it here too. It's called ants on a log. So you take celery, but
that sounds so yummy. Ants on a log.
Celery, a nice cruciferous vegetable, and you put a nut butter on like the little depression in the celery. You fill it with nut butter, and then you put raisins on top, which are the ants. So the ants stick to the peanut butter. And it sounds weird, but it's very delicious.
Okay, I'll be honest, and I've had it, and
the truth comes out.
I like it.
Yes.
I kind of like liking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
And speaking of that, I don't think we talked about sandwiches, but peanut butter and jelly, old school, 1940s school lunch is still a great option. If you can make it a little more modern by not using highly processed jellies.
Those days, people actually used to have healthier stuff in America.
Yeah, I think this is a theme. Everyone used to have healthier stuff in those days, right? So don't knock what your parents may have had or what my parents may have had for school lunch.
No, my parents had it more.
Yeah, they didn't have peanut butter and jelly. But peanut butter and jelly is an option, especially if you can get like less sweet jelly or make your own jam jelly and whole grain bread. And so I guess sandwich-wise, maybe move on to the tips now.
I think so, because I think
again,
we've gone into different categories, but I think now at this point in time, whatever you've learned from your pediatric practice, talking to kids, talking to kids' parents, and saying, that's a great idea. So you probably have a bunch of things in your pitara, so maybe you can just open up that Pandora's box and let it go.
Hopefully it's not a Pandora's box. But, so as with most lifestyle or at-home changes, preparation and planning is very important. So, when you're figuring out what you're going to get for the week for your family at the grocery store, also figure out what you're going to give to your kids for lunch. Make sure you have everything so you don't have to keep ordering again and again or going out again and again. And you know what? Involve your kids. Say, what would you guys like to have? What would you like to see? And it's rather than giving them an open book, give them choices. Would you like broccoli or carrots? Would you like crackers or burrito? I don't know. So just don't say, what do you want for lunch? Because they will say Nutella or sandwich lollipop. Or something, or lollipop. Yeah. So yes, give them choices, and then that will make your life easier, hopefully, in most cases. Also, I think I kind of alluded to this, I think in the first part or earlier in this part, you can make things ahead of time. So if you're making, if you're planning to give fruits and vegetables, you can just cut a whole bunch of them and keep them in containers in the refrigerator. So then you just have to dole them out each day. You can make batches of those healthy muffins or bars or cookies or waffles, whatever. You can freeze them for even longer and have those available. So make things that can be made ahead of time. Speaking of that, if you have extras left over from dinner the night before, don't sell that short as an option for your kids' lunch the next day. We talked about pasta. Pasta is not probably, or like rice dishes. It might be a little more for older kids that can use utensils better. But yeah, you don't, just because there's leftovers doesn't mean it's only for the adults. The kids can use it too, and that'll save you time in the morning as well. So that's just kind of for for parents and helpers trying to make things easier. To make things more fun and appealing to kids, healthy foods, and also just eating the food in general. Because another thing is sometimes we get discouraged when half the lunch comes home or whole lunch comes home.
In our case, most of the lunch comes home.
But you should always remember that kids have a smaller stomach than us. The old wives' tale is that it's the size of your fist, and that is actually mostly true. So if you give them a ginormous lunch, and I have to tell this to myself every day, don't expect them to eat it all, because you will be disappointed and they will be overwhelmed and may actually eat less. So if you give them a more appropriate sized lunch, then they're more likely to eat more of it or most of it. Also, again, I'm seeing more and more of this here, is give them a container that has different compartments. It makes it more interesting for them. You don't even have to buy ones that are already made. You can put little wrappers or dividers into just one plain lunchbox and make it more exciting. Like, this is the vegetable area, this is the fruit area, this is the grain area, whatever. So it has two purposes. One, it's more fun for the kids, and two, it helps you remember the different elements you should include. And
by the time they are done with it, doesn't look like a big overwhelming heap.
Right. It separates it out a little more. Yes, exactly. It's more appealing to the eyes. Right. Something that happens here, and I'm sure in other houses, if you have snacks or specific things that you've bought for the school lunch, keep them separate, because they will be eaten by people that live in the house. And then you go in the morning and you're like, where is that bag of banana chips that I was going to give? Oh, it's in someone's stomach. So that does sometimes happen. I'm not saying you, other members of the household also. That's, keep it in a special area.
That's a problem, because we try to tell people not to have snacks, and then lunch stuff comes in the way.
Right.
Then,
So,
so keep it far away.
Yeah, keep it in a special area. Something that's a little more involved, but isn't actually not that difficult, is if you're making sandwiches, you can use cookie cutters to make them fun. Like, not only will it make it smaller sized, which is, again, ideal, but it also, if you give a heart-shaped sandwich or a star-shaped sandwich, then if I were a kid, I would think that was pretty cool. Variety is the spice of life. And kids, again, appreciate and crave variety, so don't give them the same thing every day. It's easiest to vary the fruits and vegetables.
If they like it. If they like.
Yeah, if they like, of course, yes. If they like it, that's fine. But remember, you want to develop their taste buds. So it is, even if they like it, at least 1 or 2 days, give them something different. Don't just give them the same old sandwich. Put it in a piece of chapati and make it into a roll. Put it in a bagel, like I mentioned. Naan. I mean, you can use different types of, and I mentioned, using that apple sandwich before. So it can make it healthier and a little more interesting, and different fillings, of course, too, you want to do.
How do you feed kids vegetables and stuff? Like, how do you incorporate?
Right. So, I mean, the kiddo that is a little more stoic, and if you give them a carrot stick, they throw it at you, then there are ways to hide vegetables. So not just in school lunches, but even we can talk about other meals. But I mentioned the muffins that have zucchini.
Hide it in their pocket.
Muffins with zucchini or pumpkin or something is a good way.
So
but also,
they cannot see it.
They can't see it, but it's there.
Yeah.
Also pasta sauces, especially vegan cheese sauces. You can actually throw like 5 different vegetables in there, and it tastes like cheese, but it has vegetables. If your kids like quote unquote meat sauces, you can make a meat sauce out of lentils, and it has the same texture and flavor, honestly, I think, as a meat, as like a bolognese, a meat sauce. So there's many, many other ways I could go on about this, but hiding some vegetables until they get used to it. And you can also make, I mentioned the dips and hummus and that sort of thing. You can also finely chop or finely grate vegetable, like beetroot or cucumber, courgette, or and then
like, especially beetroots and all will nicely color it like it did.
It makes it. So you reminded me, fun colors are another. I always tell people, this was probably my first advice as a baby pediatrician, and I still to this day.
You were a pediatrician when you were a baby?
Yeah, imagine that. But I talked about fruit and dips or vegetables and dips. You can color them naturally and make it more fun. So if you give them, instead of gray or beige hummus, if you give them purple hummus because you've colored it with beetroot, or if you give them
trying
orange,
to show off to their
like
friends
look at
and-
my purple dip that I'm having, and they'll think it's cool. So thankfully there's lots of options for natural food coloring available too. So yeah, colors, shapes, textures, just making things more than the typical, like as you mentioned, blob of fruit. So should we summarize maybe?
Yeah, I think it's time to kind of like stop here, because I know you have a lot more tips that as we're talking, you're coming up with more, but we already finished the outline that we wanted to talk.
So we'll probably have more in pediatric podcasts to come. I'm sure food always comes up. So basically, the key to a successful school lunch or snack is to plan ahead, involve your kids in the planning, try to prepare things ahead of time so you're not scrambling around in the morning. Try to have the essential components, at least most days, the essential components are a main dish, fruit, vegetable, and some kind of snack, whether it's sweet or savory. Try to have protein, vitamin-filled, good carbs, something that has quick energy to get them through the rest of the day. I didn't mention this, but of course, water.
So drinks, we should, I think we only give our kids water.
We only give water. And I would recommend really either water, definitely water, and or a plant-based milk, which is actually what we're going to talk about in our next episode. So, and then, once a week or sporadically give them a semi-healthy dessert and make eating fun.
Yeah.
Whether it's colorful or shaped or textured or variety, however you think and you and your kids think is the best way to make things fun. And then that nutrition will be fun too. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Imagine that. All right. I think hopefully these tips will help you, and over the coming weeks and months, we'll try to incorporate. I mean, we'll add to this list, and maybe have another part 3, part 4, whatever.
Yeah, part 75.
No, I think.
All right. So now that you've made me hungry, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Have a lovely day.
Bye.
We really hope you enjoyed our conversation. Can you think about one thing or an idea that you can start to introduce into your own life that will help make your life healthier and less stressful?
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you can take a few seconds to share the podcast with your friends and families. Thank you so much for listening.
And always remember, your health is literally in your own hands. Making lifestyle changes is not an easy task, but we promise you will be aptly rewarded with a long, healthy, and disease-free life.